It was raining heavily outside an old apartment building. Most of the windows were dark, except for one faint light. The storm whispered like something alive. Inside, Marty sat alone in his small room. The only light came from the cold, blue glow of the security monitor. The hallway on the screen was empty, silent. Then, at exactly 2:45 a.m., a shadow appeared at the end of the hallway. It didn't move. It just stood, staring at his door. Marty leaned closer. The figure slowly lifted its head. No face. Only darkness. But it felt like it was looking straight at him. The monitor flickered. Static filled the room. When the picture returned, the hallway was empty again. The next night, the same time, the shadow returned. Closer this time. The light in the hallway trembled. About to die, it raised its hand, pressed its palm against the camera lens. The screen went black. When it came back, bloody fingerprints covered the lens. Marty called the police. 2 officers arrived, checked the tape, and laughed. System glitch. But Marty knew. It wasn't. Night 3. The shadow was no longer a shadow. It looked exactly like Marty. Skin, pale. Eyes, white. Smile, cold. Its lips moved. Open the door. Let me in. Suddenly, the front door shook. Bang, bang, bang. The doorknob slowly turned. Marty shoved it back with all his strength. On the monitor, the second Marty only smiled. The 4th night, the screen didn't show live footage. It showed earlier that day. Marty unlocking the door. Then, who am I? The monitor cut to static. When it returned, 2 Martys were entering the apartment. At the same time, the 5th night, Marty shut off the power. Darkness swallowed the room. But the television turned on by itself. First, static. Then, Marty sitting on his couch. Behind him, a tall shadow, motionless. He spun around. The room was empty. But on the screen, the shadow placed its black, twisted hand on his shoulder. Marty screamed, but no sound came out. Only silence. Only static. The next morning, neighbors gathered at his locked door. They whispered. Someone was still inside. Inside the apartment. The monitor glowed faintly. The hallway was empty. At 2:45 a.m., the shadow returned. The screen froze. Open the door. It was a stormy night. The rain poured heavily on the deserted streets. Sam entered an old hotel, dragging his small suitcase across the wet floor. The lobby was dimly lit. The carpets were worn out. The chandelier flickered weakly. The receptionist smiled faintly and handed him the key. Room 1207 is ready for you. Inside the elevator, Sam noticed something strange. The buttons went from 12 straight to 14. But between them, a rusty button. Number 13. He hesitated, and then pressed it. The elevator shook violently. The lights flickered, and the door creaked open. A dark, abandoned hallway appeared. The floorboards groaned. At the very end, a single door. Room 13. 13. The handle turned by itself. The door slowly opened. Inside, the air was freezing. In the corner stood a tall mirror. The phone rang. Sam froze, then picked it up. "This room isn't empty. You shouldn't be here." Sam dropped the phone. His reflection smiled back at him, and then stepped forward. One by one, the lights went out. Only the mirror glowed faintly. From behind the curtain came laughter. He pulled it aside. Nothing. The phone rang again. "Why don't you open the door? I'm right outside." The door rattled violently. Shadows moved behind it. He ran into the hallway. Footsteps followed him. Dozens of them. The elevator finally opened. But inside, it wasn't the lobby. It was the same endless hallway. Every door marked 1313. Behind one door, a woman's scream. Behind another, laughter. Then, silence. Right in the middle of the hallway, a giant mirror appeared. His reflection was no longer human. White eyes, black skin, a mouth stretching from ear to ear. The reflection stepped out of the mirror, reaching for him. Everything went dark. Only heavy breathing. And something being dragged. The next morning, the receptionist checked room 1207. The bed was untouched. The key lay on the desk. But no trace of Sam was ever found. On the security cameras, he was last seen